100 rated chess, but your king is stinky. You can only move your pieces, and pawns, further away from him. Well, I mean, an easier solution to this is just to take the king to a shower, but I guess war doesn't wait for anyone. Edward forward. I mean, pushing a pawn is absolutely moving the pawn away from the king, unless the king is in front of the pawn. Knight f6. e5. Knight e4. d3. Knight c5. d4. Knight e4. That blunders a horsey. f3. I mean, if he goes knight g5, bishop takes g5 will also put my bishop into trouble because I cannot retreat my bishop according to the rules, but at least I'll take a pawn before my bishop dies. Never mind. F takes e4. Knight takes d4. Aha, now things get interesting. That blunders a horsey, but if I take it, that will put my queen pretty far away from my king, and I won't be able to retreat her, ever again. Well, but I'm not a coward. Queen takes d4, I mean, as long as he doesn't attack my queen, it's fine. e6. Knight f3. Okay, this move looks like I've just broken the rules, but actually, my knight was originally 2 squares away from my king, but the knight on f3 actually has a square root of 5 distance to my king, and as far as I can see, square root of 5 is bigger than 2, which means that move did not break the rules. Bishop e4 check. Very aggressive. That blunders a bishop. Again, that move has just put my queen even further away from my king, which even further restricts my queen's movement. But of course, I'm not a coward. c5. Aha, that blunders a pawn, and in case you're wondering, that still puts my queen further away from my king, because queen on b4 is 3 times square root of 2, and queen on c5 is 2 times square root of 5, and you can compare those numbers. d6. Again, queen takes d6. And I'm not going to explain the numbers again, you can calculate them yourself if you want to. Queen trade. Aha. Perfect. I mean, my queen was so far away from my king already, so a queen trade is kinda forced if I don't want to lose my woman for free. Castle. Bishop d3, bishop d7, e5, a5, h4, rook ac8, g4. Let's be aggressive. Bishop a4. Aha. He is obviously aiming for my c2 pawn, therefore, knight a3. And when you think about it, that is actually the only square that my knight can go to, and since my c-pawn is now defended by 2 pieces, in no world do you take my c-pawn right now. Well, maybe this world is an exception. Of course I can't go knight c2, and bishop takes c2 is actually putting my bishop in a square that has the same distance to my king, and as the rule said, I can only move further away from the king, so equal distance is also not allowed here. Bishop b5. Okay, I'm not gonna care about that, let's just try to promote David. Rook c3. Man, the crazy moves are really swarming in now. That blunders a rook, but again, that puts my pawn closer to the king, which is against the rules. Therefore, bishop g5. Oh no, my horsey. Rook takes f3. David to d7. Rook e3 check. That blunders the rook again, but again, that is against the rules. King d2. The rules said I have to move my pieces away from the king, but it didn't say that I cannot move my king closer to my pieces, so that move is still a legal move. Bishop e4. King takes c3. Man, maybe using the king is the best way to do this challenge. Bishop c6. Man, these moves are starting to be so random right now. David forward, and change to a rook. I mean, he's gonna take anyway, so it doesn't matter. Well, I guess it matters now. Bishop e7. Now he has to take. Or not. That blunders a king to rook takes f8 checkmate in 1, but that actually puts my rook in a same distance away from my king, which is against the rules, but then f the rules because I cannot use any of my rooks anymore since all the moves are just putting it closer to my king. Therefore, rook takes f8 checkmate, and since I ended my own video, there's no what the f today.